As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will but poor 1,000 crowns, and, as thou sayest, charged my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother, Jacques, he keeps at school, and report speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or, to speak more properly, stays me here at home, unkept. For call you that keeping for a gentleman of my birth, that differs not from the stalling of an ox. His horses are bred better, for besides that they are fair with their feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end riders dearly hired. But I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth. For the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I. Besides this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it. Yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Oh, marry, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God made. A poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, better to be employed than not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
You know where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well. Here in your orchard.
You know before whom, sir?
Aye, better than him I am before knows me. I know that you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better in that you were the firstborn, but the same tradition takes not away my blood, were there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before me is closer to his reverence.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Rowland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat, till this other hand had pulled out thy tongue for saying so. Thou hast railed on thyself.
Sweet masters, be patient, for your father's remembrance be at accord.
Let me go, I say.
I will not, till I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong within me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that, I will go buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part in your will, and leave me alone, I beg. I pray you leave me.
I will no further offend you than becomes me for my good.
Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master, he would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin, you grow upon me. I physique your rankness, yet give no thousands of crowns neither. All in, Dennis.
Calls your worship?
Was not Charles the wrestler here, the Duke's wrestler, here to speak with me?
So please you, he is at the door and importunes access to you.
Well, call him in. He'll be a good way, and tomorrow the wrestling is.
Tomorrow, your worship.
Good morrow, Sir Charles. What's the news? What's the new news at the court?
There's no new news at the court, but the old news, that is, the old Duke is banished by his younger brother, the new Duke.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, will be banished with her father?
Oh no, she is at the court and no less beloved of her uncle, that is, his own daughter.
Well, where will the old Duke live?
They say he is already in the forest of Arden, and many merry men with him, and there they live like the old Robin Hood of England.
What? You wrestle tomorrow in front of the new Duke?
Marry do I, sir, and I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguise against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquaint him well. I came hither to acquaint you withal.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have understand means labored to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I tell thee, Charles, it is the stubbornest young fellow of all France, full of ambition, envious emulator of every man's good will, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore use thy discretion. I had lief thou didn't break his neck as his finger, as thou wert best to it, if thou dost him any slight disgrace. He will practice against thee in poison, entrap thee by some treacherous device, and he will not leave until he hath taken some life by some indirect means or another. For I assure thee, and almost with tears in my eyes I speak it, there is not one so young and so villainous to this day living. I speak brotherly of him, but I should anatomize him thee as he is. I must blush, weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
I am heartily brother to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment.
Farewell, good Charles. Now, I will stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end to him. For my soul, yet I know not why. He hates nothing more than me. Yet he is gentle, never schooled yet learned, full of noble devices. All those sorts of enchantly beloved, and indeed so much in his heart of the world, and especially of my own people, who best know him, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be long. This wrestler shall clear all. Nothing remains that I kindle the boy thinner, which I'll now go apart.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cause, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more worth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were married her? Unless you could teach me how to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasures.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke, my father, so thou hadst still been with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldest thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly when he dies, thou shalt be his heir, for what he hath taken away from thy father perforce. I will render thee again in affection, by my honor I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, cause, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither than with safety of a pure blush thou mayest in honour come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistaken her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favouredly.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, hath not fortune sent us this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature when fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter offer of nature's wit.
Peradventure, this is not fortune's worth neither, but nature's, who perceiveth our natural wits too dull to reason of such goddesses, and hath sent this natural for our whetstone. For always the dullness of a fool is the whetstone of the wits. How now? Wits whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honour, but I was bid come for you.
What learned you of that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honour they were good pancakes, and swore by his honour mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it that the pancakes were not, and the mustard was good. And yet, was not the knight forsworn?
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Ay, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now, stroke your chin, and swear by your beards, I am knave.
By our beards if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that it is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honour, for he never had any. Or if he had sworn it away before ever he saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is that thou meanest?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honour him. Enough. Speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
More pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For since the little wit that fools have with silence, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Oh, here comes Monsieur Lebeau,
With his mouth full of news.
which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
And then we shall be news crammed.
All the better. We shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, Monsieur Lebeau. What's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madam? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decree.
Well said. That was laid on with a trowel.
Nay, if I keep not my rank.
Thou losest thy old smells.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, but you have lost the sight of.
Yet, tell us the manner of wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyship, you may see the end. For the best is yet to do, and here, where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills on their necks, be it known unto all men by these presents.
The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there is little hope of life in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie. The poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his heart with weeping.
Alas!
What is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Men may grow wiser every day. This is the first time I've ever heard of breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Nor I promise thee.
But is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon his rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here. For here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure they are coming. Let us not stay and see it.
Come on. Since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young. Yet he looks successfully.
Now, daughter, cousin, are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There are such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Do so. I'll not be by.
Monsieur, the challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he is the general challenger. I come but in as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Oh, young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. You saw yourself with your eyes or knew yourself with your judgment. The fear of your adventure would counsel you to be a more equal enterprise. We pray you for your own sake to embrace your own safety and to give over this attempt.
Do so, young sir. Your reputation shall not be therefore misprized. We will make it our suit to the duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything, but let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein, if I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that is willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come, where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir. But his will hath in it more modest working.
Shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him for a second.
You mean to mock me after. You should not have mocked me before, but come your ways.
Now Hercules be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Ah!
Oh, excellent, young man.
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who should down.
No more. No more.
Yes, I beseech your grace. I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, youngest son of Sir Rowland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. Well esteemed thy father honorable. I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with steed, hadst thou been descended from another house. But fare thee well. Thou art a gallant youth. Would thou hast told me of another father.
Were I my father, cuz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Rowland's son, his youngest son, and I would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Rowland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I known before this young man, his son, I would have given him tears unto entreaties ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let's go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved, if you do keep your promises in love, but justly, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
John, wear this necklace for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more means, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye, very well, fair gentleman.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a mere quintain, a lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Do you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
Oh, what passion hangs these weights upon thy tongue! Like, I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown, or Charles or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause, and love. Yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is indeed more suited to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you, sir, and pray you tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that here was at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners. But yet indeed the smaller is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her uprising uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath been displeased against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And, on my life, his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
Rest much bound to you. Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant Duke unto a tyrant brother. But, heavenly Rosalind.
Why, cousin, why, Rosalind? Cupid have mercy, not a word?
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me, come, lay me with reasons.
And there were two cousins laid up, when the one should be lame with reasons, and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No. Some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars in this working day world!
But they are but birds, cousin, thrown upon thee in haughty foolery. If we walk not on the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These birds are in my heart.
Send them away.
I would try if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
They take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, good wish upon you. You will try in time in despite of a fall. But turning these jets out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible on such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Rowland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensure that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him. For my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and do you love him because I do? Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence or have acquaintance with my own desires, if that I do not dream or not be frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice that I trust you not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. That is enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord, or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then good my liege, mistake me not so much to think my property is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Ay, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young at the time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we went like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence, her patience speaks to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence on me then, my liege. I cannot live without her company.
You are a fool. Eunice, provide yourself, if you outstay the time, upon mine honor, and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than am I.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke had banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teaches thee that thou I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For by this heaven now at her sorrows pale, say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To see my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are to travel forth so? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face, though like you do. So shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, that since I am more than common tall, that I did suit me at all points like a man? A gallant curt axe on my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden wounds sear their will. Have a swashing and a marshal outside, as many other mannish cowards have that do outface it with their semblances.
What should I call thee when thou art a man?
I have no worse a name than Jove's own page. And therefore, look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
But cousin, what if we say to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go along over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together, devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty, and not to banishment.
Now, my comrades and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of a painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference as the icy fang, and churlish chiding of the winter's wind. When it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, brooks in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet, it irks me the poor dappled fools, being naive burghers of this desert city, shall in their own confines with forked heads have their round haunches bored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jacques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more serve than doth your brother that hath banished you. I did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that brawls along this wood, to which place a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt, did come to languish, and indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their discharge did stretch his leathern coat, almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose, in piteous chase, and thus the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jacques, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
Jacques, did you not moralize this spectacle?
Oh yes, into 1,000 miles.
And did you leave him in his contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me this place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her bed, and in the morning early, they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the roguish clown at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil this sinewy Charles, and she believes wherever they are gone, the youth is surely in their company.
Send his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition quail, and bring again these foolish runaways.
Who's there?
What, my young master? Oh, my gentle master. Oh, my sweet master. Oh, you memory of old Sir Rowland. Why, what make you here? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prizer of the hume pursuit? Your praise has come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, master, to some kind of men their graces serve them but as enemies? No more do yours. Your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. Oh, what a world is this, when what is comely becomes him that bears him.
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother, no, not brother, yet the son, no, not the son, I will not call him son. Of him I was about to call his father, hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. I overheard him in his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, and do not enter it.
Whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What? Wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or with a base and boisterous sword and a thievish living on the common road? This I must do, or know not what to do, yet this I will not do how I can. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse when service should my old lambs lie lame, and unregarded age in corners thrown. Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed, yea, providently caters for the sparrow. Be comfort to my age. Here is the gold, all this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty, for in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did not with unbashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore, my age is as a lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty, not for meed. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that do choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee. But, poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But, come thy ways, we'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost fourscore, here lived I, but live here no more. At 17 years, many their fortunes seek, but at fourscore it is too late a week. Yet fortune cannot recompense me better than to die well and not my master's debtor.
Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman, but I must comfort the weaker vessel. His doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now I am in Arden. More fool I. When I was home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
I'd be so good, Touchstone. Oh, look, who comes here? A young man and an old in solemn talk.
That's the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved ere now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wasn't a true lover, as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didn't then never love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not broke from company, abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe!
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for a coming a night to Jane's smile. And I remember the kissing of her battler and the cow's dugs that her pretty chopped hands had milked. And I remember the wooing of a peascod instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods, and giving her them again, said with weeping tears, "Wear these for my sake." We that are true lovers run into strange capers. But as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature in love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall never be ware of mine own wit till I break my shins against it.
Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you, question yon man, if he for gold will give us any food. Oh, I faint almost to death.
Ah, you clown!
Peaceful, he is not thy kinsman.
Who calls? You're better, sir. Else they are very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that lot or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed, and faints for succor.
There, sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am a shepherd to another man, and I do not shear the fleeces that I graze. My master is of a churlish disposition, and little recks to find the way to heaven, doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on, but what is, come see. My voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
A young swain that you saw here erewhile, little cares for the buying of anything.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay it for us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place. I willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me. If you like upon report the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
More, I prithee, more.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. More, I prithee, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanzo. Call you stanzos?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well, if I ever thank any man, I'll thank you. But that they call compliment is like the encounter of two dog apes. When a man thanks me heartily, methinks I have given him a penny, and he renders me the beggarly thanks.
Well, I'll end the song. The Duke hath been all this day to look to you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, Warble, come.
Who doth ambition's son, and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday, in despite of my own invention.
And I'll sing it.
And so it goes. If it should come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, Duke Dame, Duke Dame, Duke Dame, here he shall see gross fools as he, and if he will, come to me.
What's that, Duke Dame?
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll sleep if I can, and if I can't, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
What? How now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Oh, live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while at harm's end. I will be here with thee presently, And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I return, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Thou lookest cheerly, and I'll be with thee quickly. Yet thou liest in the bleak air. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner, if there live anything in this desert. Cheerly, good Adam.
I think he'd be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
My lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here he was merry, hearing of the song.
If he compacted jars for a musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
He saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo in your company? What, you look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool, a miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked in the sun, and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eye, says very wisely, "'Tis 10 o'clock. Thus we may see," quoth he, "how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and in 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral in the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer that fools should be so deep contemplative, and I did laugh sans intermission an hour by his dial. O noble fool, a worthy fool, motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
O worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places, crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you lead your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them that I am wise. I must have liberty with all, as large a charter as the wind to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled with my folly, they must most laugh. And why, sir, must they so? The why is plain as way to parish church. He that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he smart, not to seem senseless of the bob. If not, the wise man's folly is anatomized, even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What for a counter would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin and chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the British sting itself, and all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge in the general world.
Why, who cries out on pride that can therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea, till that the very means do ebb? What woman in the city do I name when I say that the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders, who can come in and say that I mean her, when such a one is she, such is her neighbor? Or, what is he of basest function that says that his bravery is not on my cost, thinking that I mean him, but therein suits his folly to the metal of my speech? There then, how then, what then? Let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged him, if it do him right, then he hath wronged himself. If he be free, then why my taxing like a wild goose lies unclaimed of any man? But who comes here?
Forbear, and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Nor shalt not till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this caught come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress, or else a rude despair of good manners, that in civility thou seemest so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath taken from me the show of smooth civility. Yet I am inland bred and no sun nurture. But forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost died for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you, I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time. If ever you have looked on better days, if ever been where bells have knolled to church, if ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feasts and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little whiles like a doe I go to find my fawn and give it food. There is an old poor man who after me hath many a weary step limped in pure love, till he be but first sufficed, oppressed with 2 weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch of it.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till your return.
I thank you, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest, we are not all alone and happy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being in 7 stages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face creeping like a snail unwillingly to school, and then the lover, sighing like a furnace with woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow, and then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, and good cap in line, with eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise solves and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his useful hose well saved a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his voice. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden, and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need, I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousins sing. If that you were the good Sir Rowland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, and as mine eye doth effigies witness most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune, go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right as welcome as thy master is. Give me your hand, and let all your fortunes understand.
Oh!
Not seen him since. Sir, that cannot be. But were I not the better part made mercy, I should not seek an absent argument of my revenge, thou present, but look to it. Find out thy brother wheresoever he is. Seek him with candle, bring him, living or dead, within this 12-month, or turn thou no more to seek living in our territory. Thy lands, and all things that thou dost call thine, worth seizure, do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my whole life.
More villain thou! Well, push him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently, and turn him going.
Hang there, my verse, and witness of my love. And thou, thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above thy huntress's name that my full life doth sway. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts all character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
Here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosaline.
I'll rhyme you so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours expected. It is the right butterwoman's rank to market.
Out, fool.
Taste. The hearts do lack a hind, then let him seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosaline. Wintered garments must be lined, so must slender Rosaline. They that reap must sheaf and bind, then to part with Rosaline. Sweetest nut hath soured rind, such a nut is Rosaline. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosaline. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool! I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
I'll graft it with you, and then I shall graft it with a meddler. Then it will be the earliest fruit in the country, for you'll be rotten ere you'll be half right, and that's the right virtue of the meddler.
You have said. But whether wisely or no, let the forest judge.
Peace! Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this a desert be? For is it unpeopled? No. Tongues I'll hang on every tree that shall civil saying show. Somehow brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend, but upon the fairest vows. Or at every sentence end will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite. Heaven would in little show. Therefore heaven nature charged that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged. Nature presently distilled, Helen's cheek but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty, thus Rosalind of many parts. By heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that these gifts should have, an eye to live and die her slave.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, "Have patience, good people."
Oh, now, back, friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, Sirrah.
Let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had had more feet than verses would bear.
That's no matter. The feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wander before you came, for look, here what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time that I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember.
Trow you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore around his neck. Change your color.
I prithee who?
Oh, Lord, is it a hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that all of whooping.
Good, my complexion. Dost thou think I am perished to be a man? Have I doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more than a South Sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer, and thou mightst pour this concealed man out of thy mouth as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a belly in your man.
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true maid.
Faith, cuz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Where and went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when thou shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know that I am in this forest in a man's apparel? Looks he especially as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover, but take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There he lay, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry hollow to thy tongue, I prithee. It curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
How ominous he comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft, comes he not here?
'Tis he, slink by and know him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
Oh, and so had I. But yet, for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray that you no more mar trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so, but I answer you right patent cloth, from whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery?
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under the habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
And there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as the clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Hadn't that not been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
He trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a sennight, that time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout, for the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean, wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With the shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
Ask the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so by many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offences as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
On principle, they were all like one another as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, count some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There's a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs oaths upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all, forsooth, defying the name of Rosaline. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotition of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There's none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which a cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
Well, a lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which You have not. A beard neglected, which you have not, but I pardon you for that, for simply your having in beard as a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be unguarded, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself and seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love her believe it, which I warrant she is apt to do than confess she does. That is one of the points in which women still give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosaline is so admired?
I swear to thee, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are so not punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, and in this manner. He was to imagine me as his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, but being a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are. For the most part, cattle of this color would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him. That drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And this may well take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love on it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to coat and woo me.
No, by the faith of my love I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it to you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?